There are plants that are almost impossible not to buy. You walk into a garden center and see them. Neat, dense, perfectly shaped. With bright labels, spreads quickly, low maintenance, perfect for filling empty spaces. And that's exactly why people choose them. You bring the plant home, plant it. And in the first year, everything looks exactly as promised. In the second, even better. But then something begins that almost no one talks about. It starts appearing in other places. You fight it, and it comes back. You control one area, and it's already growing in another. And at some point you realize this is no longer just a plant. It's a system that works independently of you. In this video, 15 plants that most often turn from an ideal choice into a long-term problem. And if you already have at least one of them, don't worry. What matters is not what you planted. What matters is what you do next. And watch until the end. Because plant number 1 is in almost every garden. And most people have already lost control of it without even noticing. Let's start with a plant that almost everyone has. 15. Mentha. Mint is planted for its simplicity. It smells fresh, it's added to tea. It's recommended as the perfect first plant, and it really grows fast. But the problem is, mint is not a bush. It's an underground system. It sends out long root runners that spread sideways and create new plants. You see one plant, but underground there are already dozens. And after a couple of seasons, it appears where you didn't plant it. If mint has already spread, don't pull it from the top. Water the soil. Carefully dig to a depth of 20 to 30 centimeters and remove the roots as whole as possible. After that, be sure to cover the area with mulch or a dense material. And watch for new shoots. They almost always appear in the first weeks. If you're just about to plant it, contain it immediately with a container or barrier. And now a plant that spreads slowly in the garden, but in a year or two becomes a problem. 14. Lily of the Valley. Lily of the Valley people buy lily of the valley for the atmosphere. Delicate flowers, fragrance, a forest feeling. It doesn't look aggressive. And that's its main trap. It doesn't take over quickly. It does it slowly but steadily. Underground, a dense network of rhizomes forms, year after year. And one day you notice nothing grows next to it anymore. If it has already taken over, don't leave part of it for later. Completely open up the soil, take apart the root system by hand, and remove everything down to clean ground. Even a small piece will eventually regrow everything. Now, a plant that looks expensive, but behaves like an invader. 13. Bamboo. Bamboo is planted for the effect. Tall, dense creates a sense of privacy, but some types are running. They spread underground for meters and appear where you don't expect them. If it's already popping up, don't dig the plant, dig the perimeter. Make a trench 50 to 70 centimeters deep and cut off the root system. Without this, it will keep coming back again and again. The following plants at first glance seem like the perfect solution for the garden. 12. Hosta. Hosta is one of the most beloved shade plants. Large leaves, neat shape, calm decorative look. It's planted where nothing grows. But the problem isn't the plant itself. The problem is the neighbors. Hosta is not aggressive. It doesn't compete for space. And next to aggressive plants, it simply disappears. 17. If it's already fading, transplant it to a separate area where there are no aggressive neighbors. Otherwise, it will lose this battle. Next is a very beautiful plant that looks like a perfect carpet. 11. Vinca minor, periwinkle. Periwinkle is sold as a solution. Shade, empty spaces, difficult soil, and it really covers the ground quickly. But it doesn't stop. Each stem takes root, and over time it becomes a network. If it has already spread, cut the greenery, cover with cardboard, add mulch, and leave it for at least a season. Without light, it will weaken. The next plant works like geometry. 10. Scilla siberica. Siberian squill. It is beautiful in spring, but then reproduction begins. Bulbs divide, seeds spread, and each year there are more of them. If it's already everywhere, don't remove everything at once. Each season reduce the amount and don't let it reproduce again. Now we move to a level where plants are already difficult to stop. 9. Ajuga. It is loved for its dense ground cover and leaf color, but it spreads by stolons, creeping runners that root every few centimeters. In the first season, it neatly covers the bed. In the second, it goes beyond its borders. In the third, it starts appearing in the lawn. And this is where the real problem begins. Because once it establishes in the lawn, it becomes part of its structure, and removing it without damaging the grass becomes difficult. If it has already gone beyond the borders, don't wait. Walk along the edge of the planting, cut all the runners that are escaping, and remove every rooting point by hand. The best time is when the soil is moist, then the roots come out more easily intact. After that, reinforce the border, stone, edging, or compacted soil. With ajuga, one rule applies. If you let it establish, you're already too late. Now a plant that looks like decoration, but behaves like an airborne invader. 25-8. Clematis terniflora, sweet autumn clematis. This clematis is bought for its effect. White clouds of flowers, strong fragrance, a feeling of a luxury garden. It covers fences, arches, walls, and at first it looks perfect. But behind it is a mechanism that is not immediately visible. Each flower is a seed. Thousands of seeds. They spread by the wind and germinate throughout the garden. And after a few years you no longer have one clematis, but dozens. If it has already started reproducing, first, stop the seeds. Cut the plant before seed heads appear. Then, throughout the season, check the area and remove new seedlings while they are still small, because in a year it will already be a new problem. Now plants that deceive not by growth, but by expectations. Achillea millefolium, yarrow bright colors, pink, red, coral. That's why people buy it. But many hybrids don't retain their color. After a couple of years, they revert to plain white. And instead of a bright flower bed, you get something completely different. If it's already growing, divide the clumps every 2 to 3 years and refresh the plantings, and choose stable varieties if you plan to replant. The next plants are almost indestructible. 6. Ranunculus, repens, creeping buttercup. It looks like an ordinary flower. Yellow flowers, low growth. But it has 2 survival strategies, roots and seeds. And that makes it very persistent. You pull it out, and it comes back. If it's already there, remove it before it flowers so it doesn't produce seeds. And pay attention to the soil. It prefers wet, heavy conditions. If you improve the soil structure, it will be harder for it to establish. Now, something familiar, but underestimated. 5. Melissa officinalis. Lemon balm. Lemon balm seems harmless, useful, aromatic, perfect for tea. But it behaves like mint and also adds self-seeding. That means it spreads both underground and above ground. If it has already spread, the first thing to do, don't let it flower. Cut it before flowering, and this will immediately reduce the number of new plants. After that, gradually remove excess clumps. Now an ornamental grass that is not so ornamental after a few years. 4. Phalaris arundinacea, ribbon grass. It is loved for its striped leaves. It looks bright and neat. But underground it spreads by rhizomes, and it does it very actively. If it has already gone beyond the borders, install a physical barrier or remove it completely, because it won't stop on its own. The next plant is dangerous not only for the garden, but also for you. 3. Cortaderia celoana, Pampas grass. It looks impressive, large fluffy plumes, tall form. But its leaves are sharp like blades, and it produces a huge number of seeds. If you have already planted this plant, remove it before seeds appear. and obezaitalno work with protection, gloves, and thick clothing. We are getting close to the final number 1, but before that, there is one more plant that can take over the entire area completely. 2. Houttuynia cordata. Houttuynia, very bright, and almost indestructible. The problem is in the roots. Any small piece becomes a new plant. If you have already tried to remove it, stop digging randomly. You need to block the area from light. You can use mulch or cardboard and let the plant weaken. 1. Symphytum officinale, Comfrey. It is planted intentionally, but people don't understand one thing. Its root regenerates from any fragment. If you have already started fighting this plant, it is best to cut it regularly and weaken it over time. The main conclusion you can make: these plants are not bad. They simply do what they do best, survive. But if you don't understand this in advance, they start working against you. Write in the comments, what has already gotten out of control in your garden? And in the next video, I will show plants that work for you instead.